Hey Wayland, welcome. I haven't loaded the game yet. I'm actually in the middle of like trying to set some things up, and I just noticed you'd already spoke. So hope you're having a good day, mate. I haven't had a stream for a couple of days because of, well, it's my birthday last week, obviously, and I went out over the weekend and I was away. So I haven't had a chance to stream, and I've got a lot of problems with GTA. So I'm having to cancel GTA, and we're just going to be running Dune Awakening, which I'm sure you'll love. But yeah, at the moment, because I can't get GTA to work, we are kind of just going to be running Dune Awakening and Battlefield 6 until at least I can resolve the issues with GTA. Because yeah, I've tried for 3 days. I've even 2 hours before the stream, I've been spending even more time trying to troubleshoot whatever is going wrong with it, and I can't. You've been seeing me pop in and out, dude. Have your friend requested me then on Dune? Because I haven't seen any requests. And the only person I do actually have as a friend on here is like on the server I'm on. I haven't posted it on any of the social medias, so I'm not sure where you're getting your info from. Like, actually, I tell you what, you would have got your info probably from Steam, didn't you? Because Steam will tell you when I'm playing the game. It'll also tell you when I'm playing. Won't tell you every game I'm playing, but it'll tell you any Steam game I'm playing. Well, I popped up, did I? Dox this guy. Awesome. I just need to, before I start going into the game too much. If you end just a moment, I just need to like sort one of the titles out. So I'm gonna have people on X wondering why this game is being played instead of GTA. Although they're probably still be confused. Which base? Are you on about the outbase, or are you on about the base that's in Haga Basin? Because it all depends on, like, if you're asking me because how many you need, like, you can run a base just with one generator. Haga. My Haga Basin, I don't actually know how many. I have my generators spread out, and depending on what I have switched on, depends on whether I need the additional generators. Like, I can show you what my setup is.
You're back.
I do need to pay my taxes, because I think the taxes have just come in. Which is why I parked my character here yesterday. You think I'm doing it wrong? Why am I doing it wrong? Let me show you my base, Haga Basin, because you might then understand like why I do things the way I do it. But like I said, you can actually, like I wouldn't, because I'm not trying to run a base that I don't use. I need to have a half functional base. But if you're having an AFK base, you can set up a base that literally just uses one generator. And you would need to get rid of some pentashields and stuff like that, because it's enough power to generate just like a couple of pentashields, but small pentashields, not big ones. I was watching a guy that does loads of builds and stuff like that, and he was explaining to people like how to have an AFK base. Although I disagreed with his AFK base, because effectively the next patch that comes out will take away his base, because he's telling people how to save all this stuff. Well, effectively, as soon as the new tool comes out, you can snap your building and not have to put it back up. You get all your stuff saved in it, and that's one of the reasons why they're bringing out the tool, so people who can go AFK can take their base down. And when they do that, it means no more taxes, but you save all your stuff. So it's kind of like a way of saving your stuff. Ah, sorry. I muted while I was coughing before. I forgot to turn it back on. So what I was saying is that, okay, so I don't actually know how many I've got. But what I'm doing now is I'm actually checking to see how many actually I do have. just 1 second as well, because I'm like so disorganized. I've spent that much time trying to fix things that I just ended up not being able to fix. I've got things that aren't actually turned on. They should be turned on. Once the thing closes, remind me that there's always things that want to update. Okay, so I've got 5 generators downstairs. I think the rest of my generators are upstairs. I'm pretty sure the rest of them are upstairs. Actually, I know the rest of them are upstairs. I'm just trying to think whether or not I do have any hidden away anywhere else, but I'm pretty sure I don't. So I have like a water and generator room on the very top floor. Like the the nosebleed floor. So up here, oops. Underneath my carrier floor in the rest of the generators. So we've got, so I had 5 downstairs and I've got 6 up here. So altogether I've got 11 normal generators. That's what this main base runs off. That powers all the tier 1 facilities, and they can permanently stay on with those generators. And then if I need to run the death stills, because they take up quite a lot more power, and you'd be limited on the amount of, you're limited on how many like facilities you can put in, which includes your generators. I, rather than having the rest of them tier 1 because they wouldn't generate enough power, I then have the tier 2 or 3, whatever the other ones are, and I just switch them on, which are up there, when I run the death beds, which is normally here, but at the moment I've taken them out to the deep desert, so the ones I would normally have here aren't here because they're packed up, and they're the ones that I take out to the deep desert at the moment. However, you can just work off one if you didn't run up. So if I turned off all my facilities, actually, if I turned off all my facilities, I'd probably still need 3 generators, because I've got like far too many of these. Like so if you had just the front door like I've got here, like this and that would be enough to run off 1 generator, as long as I didn't have any of my facilities on. So all of these down here, these were all switched off, and I just had these, you could run it off 1 generator. However, I've got all those things switched on downstairs. I've got these, but I've also got pentashields upstairs as well, on 3-4 floors, including some additional ones as well. I've got far too many pentashields to run off it. You just scroll back. I read all your stuff. Yeah, I had to read your previous message because I think I missed one of your messages. So this is all subjective because it all depends on a number of different factors as to what you think is best for you. But you have to think about the key resources that you put into each of those different types of generators. And while I could quite easily go even way up to the spice one, which means I could just build 2 of those spice generators, fuel those 2 spice generators, and run off them. And for me, that would be quite easy to do. However, what I feel uncomfortable with for me is you're wasting spice melange in order to run the spice generator. And for me, it's too much of a luxury resource to be wasting on generating energy that I could just stick some batteries in and not have to worry about it. The only reason why I have the tier 2 ones is because effectively I can't have enough of the tier 1 ones and they're limited. However, the tier 2 ones also have an Achilles heel, and that is you also need flower sand. Now, you could argue and turn around and say, well, flower sand's easy to get. It was when they had it so that you could go out into even Haga Basin and effectively do it risk-free, because it meant you could literally just hammer it for 2 hours, not be disturbed, and you could get enough that would last you a couple months. Now, I've got enough that'll last me. Well, I thought it'd last me like 6 months, maybe a year. However, at the speed I'm going through, it'll be gone in less than a month and a half from where I am right now. Now, I got all of that when it was really easy to get it. Now, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to get disturbed just in the same way as I'm going to get disturbed when I do spice harvesting, which means that there's a time factor in this. So when I look at the time factor of everything, I just look at like how I want to run it. I'd rather just run it off tier 1 generators for what I call an idle base. In other words, the base can idle itself and all the pendant shields and everything stays on. And to get batteries with a buggy and a tier 6 like laser on the buggy, I can, with one battery node, I get 760 or something like that units per hit, per node, which is a ridiculous amount. So that means I only have to hit about 4 or 5 nodes, and I've got enough batteries that lasts 20 days. Like, you get that many batteries, and that fills all the generators and gives you enough power for 20 days. So it's a no-brainer to do that. And that literally in deep desert, it's actually harder in Haga Basin, because in Haga Basin, trying to find nodes is like scarcity. It's like you can find 3 or 4 in a huge area, going around everywhere trying to find 4 nodes. Some weeks you're very lucky and you might have more nodes than others, but generally speaking, at least where I am, I struggle to find 4 nodes. I normally find 2 or 3, if that, and that's going further out to get the 3rd or 4th. So that's normally why I get my batteries when I'm out in a deep desert, and I actually do an extra run to bring back a ton of batteries back to Haga Basin, and I store them in, like, here I've actually got some that I brought back this week because of like what I've just said, because it's so hard to find even nodes here that I bring them back. I've got like tons and I've got more in other boxes. Now that's just literally that, and that's come from that. Now, if you were to do the tier 2 stuff, and you were to do it, and you were to run your base off that, the time factor of which you rather than requiring, because one battery effectively gives you one battery when you put it in a run and you mix it with the flower sand, gives you a better return. So actually, if batteries were hard for you to get, then actually you should think about tier 2. However, batteries aren't hardest to get. Apart from in Haga Basin, they're not hardest to get. They're actually easier to get than what the components are that you require to do the tier 2 stuff. And if you work out the time factor of which it does to do it, I guarantee there is not one player out there that will be able to tell you that they can get all the resources faster than I can get just the batteries, because they can't. it's just. But like I said, it is subjective, and I do have the tier 2 batteries, which I'll turn on and off, and that's purely because I don't want to run my base off something that's a more scarcity resource and not harder, but more time consuming to make. I just switch those on when I need that more power boost to run something that's more power consumption. But like I said, this is also subjective, and the way I do it suits my playing style. I personally think you could do it either way. I would like if I really wanted to like go better efficiency, then I would do the spice. I would have a spice generator if I wasn't bothered about losing spice to just power the base. But the thing is I just look at spice and go, well, why would what are you going to build in your base? Like I can understand why the guilds do it, because the guilds want to run, like say that like you're a guild and you've got loads of members and you're wanting to build, and everyone wants to use the fabricator. So rather than having just one fabricator for all of the different things, you might double or triple it up. So in other words, rather than have just one big spice generator or like fabricate or to say refiner, then you might have 3 large ones. Now if you're going to do that, you can't not have the large spice refiner. So at that point it then becomes viable that will work for you, because you need a much higher power generation. However, as a solo, you don't need that one large spice refiner, because, well, what else are you going to build? Yes, you are limited by how many things you can build, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, there isn't really a need for you to go straight to that large spice refiner, because at the end of the day, why would you because you effectively are paying, why would you swap energy for spice? Why don't you just keep it all energy and just have the batteries, if you can get the batteries easy? If you are in your situation where you've dragged the game out and you haven't got to the end game properly, and you don't go into the elite desert and you can't get the batteries easy, well, you're going to probably struggle to get the spice generator. Then you might go to the next one down. So instead of going to the spice generator, you might go to, I don't know, like got spice generator. Like you can go to this one, the wind turbine. Like that's got good power generator, but again, you're swapping higher tier resources in order to generate that, because for that to work, you need the improved. So this takes the standard barrel like lubrications, and then there's like an improved one, and the improved one still requires actually spice, that one but it's the byproduct of spice rather than the spice itself. So these ones will mean that you require like the low grade lubricant, and then there's a high grade lubricant, which is what the large ones take. And I'm pretty sure the high grade you need like loads of this stuff, which I have tons of, to be fair, but again, it's like, well, so the high grade I'm pretty sure requires spice residue to make, and as you can see, I've got tons of that. So realistically, maybe I should run them, but I don't, because in order to make those generators, you then need delirium as well. And then when you normally go up through the requirements, you'll normally need a little bit delirium, you'll need a battery, and then you'll need that stuff, and you'll probably need and you'll still need the flower sand. So you have to chuck more stuff in to get your stuff out. it goes back to my point really of like the reason why I don't feel a solo player needs to do that is because why does a solo player need more than one of the each of the, like even if you were to build a base with all the base resources, so when I build that deep desert base, I have every resource you need in that big one, all of the low, that tier one of all the very high advanced ones, obviously all the biggest refining things in there, a ton of penta shields and a load of other things. The base has everything you possibly need as a solo player, and that can run idly, so that means turning off all the advanced stuff. If you turn off all the advanced machinery, it'll idle on just the normal tier 1 generators, and then as soon as you need to turn on one or more of the other things, you can either turn on just a couple or as much power as you need to literally turn everything on. The only thing you won't be able to turn on at the same time with everything running is you won't be able to have the large ore thing and the large spice thing. You have to choose which one or the other, just because those two and the chemical refiner as well, all of those three things together just use up too much energy. Even with tier 2, you'd have to upgrade to tier 3 if you were to do that, and then you'd be able to probably run it. You would be able to run it with everything switched on. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty like it's down to you really what you want to do. Like it's your resources and that stuff that you want to chuck into it. When I look at it myself, I just think I don't like to waste resources, and if I can see a cheaper way of doing it that requires less effort, I'll always take that route unless it becomes something I have to do, and then I'll do it. But the thing is I don't need it. I've tested it, and I get everything I need out of it with the method, with the generation I do it, in the way I play it. But if I was a guild leader, and like I said, and I was running a big guild, and we needed loads of fabricators and stuff like that, then my approach wouldn't work. It depends on the circumstances to whether it works. I don't see why you don't like the edge generators. Like, they're not... I wouldn't say they're ugly ass. I would say they take up a lot of room. Which is obviously the reason why most people kind of try and go towards the larger generators. Like, I don't really like the large wind turbines, if I'm honest. I like the small ones because these take up less room. But yeah, they're only half the power of the large ones. See, the large one, I could probably build the large one. It's like, oh, I don't have any. Well, I do have the cavalry cervix. I think they're in there. Let me see if I can get them out. I think they're in a box somewhere. A box that stops me from being able to move it. So I want to copy. Yeah. So if I move that to here. Like, these things are huge, so these don't really save you space, in my opinion. But if you compare that to like one of these, like, that doesn't really save you space. Look, that one's taller, but it's not nowhere near. Like, I could build 4 of these little generators in place of this. But the difference between the two is, like, one obviously generates twice the amount of energy. So if I run out of amount of like space that I've got available to me, then and when I say space, I mean like if I reach the limit and I need to build more facilities, then at that point I would then consider maybe changing something around, so that I would change my boosted power from maybe these, and maybe not loads of these, maybe like just a couple of these, and then these is, so like you step it up, so I might have like 4 of these and then maybe 2 of these, and then I've got like a step up in power so that I can still use the 2, but only when I really need to, then I step up to the 3. The reason why I would do it like that is because I'm still feel reluctant to make one of these, because this uses a different type of energy, which again is like, to the industrial grade lubricant, these are just like, even these are more of a pain to make than the other ones, and these aren't like I said, these weren't a pain to get, but now they will be, because you need the flower sand. And the flower sand for me, well, I don't really want to be like having to do farming for like, you know, for risk, because that's what it is. It's like you're gonna constantly be disturbed trying to get the flower sand, so you're then spending hours to get flower sand, so that you can then have the reaction, one of the reaction pieces or building blocks that you need to create the lubricant, and you still need it for this as well. So you'll need that, then you'll need the spice residue. Like, I'm pretty sure it's spice residue. Let me check. I don't think I can make. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, so you need spice residue, silicon blocks, and fuel cells, and water. So this is the problem. It's like each one of these resources. So spice residue means that you'll need to be spice harvesting, which I do anyway, and I've got tons of the spice residue. So if it wasn't for the fact of that, and that's not the problem, that's the problem. Everything wants silicon blocks. No one fucking building wants bloody silicon blocks. And then you're building something like this, and this is a throwaway product as well. It's not as if you get it back or you keep it. It's like it goes in and you never see it again. The fuel cells, and obviously you are getting 10 out. So this like, if you were like obsessing and you couldn't get fuel cells and you found it hard to get fuel cells, this in some ways a no-brainer, because you get like 10 units out of 8 fuel cells, plus the fact these will actually last longer than the actual fuel cells. Yeah. So when you work it out, yes, like you need far less fuel cells, but however, what you are losing out on is this stuff and this stuff. Now this stuff's not a big issue if you're already doing the spice mining and the refining, and even if you're not, you can get it from the player market, although it's depending on your market, it can or cannot be cheap. It's like I'd still say it was expensive. I wouldn't say it's cheap. The silicon blocks are like, this is the painful part, and like I said, this part wouldn't be so painful if the game had been kept as it kind of was, a bit broke, and you could do the kind of harvesting for the flower sand without having to deal with worms. The fact is you do, and the only place that you didn't have to deal with, they obviously removed, because they didn't want they wanted players to have to basically deal with worms. So yeah, that was the issue. You found your place in Haga Basin that you're going to build. Have you started building it yet? Are you going to build it like at a proper base? You're not going to build like one of those tax-free haven ones down there, are you? You're down like a sub-thief. I hope you put down an advanced one, not a small one. A proper base. Good, good. It's supposed to be impressive, mate, remember? Can't be building like a 1x1. Oh wow, that even takes Spice Melange to make. Oh, I need to go and drop this off. Probably drop all this stuff in there. I reckon this has used all the stuff out of my assault ornithopter. Let's guarantee it has. I hate building when I've got stuff back here. No idea where it's taking half these resources from. I know it's taking something out now though. You're gonna have to tell me where you've built your base. I really need to know. I know you've said like where, but I would have to see it to really know where you're on about. Or my neighbour as well. Their base is like almost full down, but look, they still have their sub-thief is still there. I was really hoping their sub-thief might get in the elements by now, but it hasn't. I don't think it's going to get in the elements either until like the rest of it probably falls down. I'm just hoping like these parts stay up. I'm hoping like these parts stay up, so at least I can get to a box before the sub-thief dies. So that's still perfect condition at the moment, so that's good. Well, that'll fall. That'll be opening the elements, and then those will probably die before I can get to the before the sub-thief disappears, because their sub-thief is perfect at the moment. Because it's protected under this part that doesn't seem to want to freaking die. Must be so close to dying. Critical. Oh, I tried doing that, but so they fixed that exploit, like not the last patch, but the patch before, where you could pull a rusher, and the rusher you could get the rusher to shoot it for you. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they changed the mechanics around the elastic banding of NPCs. There are some up here, and I tried getting these to follow me, but they won't. They keep rebounding back. I even tried like pulling one. I tried like now. If you come here. It's easy. Still. Come on. Come chase me. I might have just messed that up. But we'll see. He'll still come at me. Oh. He normally resets just before.
Eyes on hostile.
Do you know how many times I've tried and I can't normally even get him this close? Come here. It's like I need to help him onto this rock. Come here. He's about to shoot me from here. To be fair, I've never actually got one to actually come this close. And I've tried loads of times. It helps a little bit now, because the last time I actually tried there were still walls on the side, so I was actually had to get him to go at the front. I almost got him in a good position before, but he's not quite high enough. He needs to be over here.
Dad, need to reload.
So isn't it the rushes? Because what I've seen of people doing it, they normally always do it with the rushes because they've got the best elastic band. And otherwise they follow you, everyone else seems to like just reset. To be fair, this one's like hasn't reset, which is unusual because he normally does.
Need to reload. Reload.
Oh yes, I've got it. He's firing at it. Oh, Wayland, I might have just done it. And this is only possible because previously there was a wall around this, so I actually had to get it. I actually had to get him to come around the front of the building and try and get him to come up, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't get him around the front of the building.
I'm empty.
Oh, this will take forever though. And it doesn't seem to be taking any damage. Maybe they fixed it so like they won't take damage anymore off an NPC. Maybe that's how they fixed it. Although the dev notes that I read said they actually fixed the rubber banding so you can't get them to follow you without them resetting. But that doesn't seem to be taking any damage. Like any damage whatsoever. Maybe slightly taking any damage. Yeah, I'd expect it to take a bit, but I'd also expect to see like some like slight damage. To be fair, these are like low NPC, so maybe they'll take like an hour or two to even show any damage.
Need to reload. Die.
I think they fixed it.
Weapon empty.
like that would have been the easiest fix that I would have thought anyway to start with, to be honest. NPCs can't cause any damage. I always thought it was a bit mad that was the case. But the first thing I tried when I heard about that was to try and see if I could do that with this building, and I couldn't. Lucky for the guy though, because the guy that owns this, or whoever it is that owns this, the week after they first abandoned it, the first time they abandoned it, I tried to do it, and I couldn't get the NPC to come and stay here. They kept rebounding back to and resetting. And I've dragged them back about 3 or 4 times. In the end, I just gave up. And then the guy came back, and I was like, "Oh, you're lucky, because you've never had a base if I'd managed to get it to work." But then I'd read, literally the week later, that in the patch that they brought out, they'd fixed it, so you can no longer do it.
Damn, empty.
You have. And whereabouts are your NPCs though, Waylon? Because
They're coming.
it can't be here. Look, that's been hit, but that's taking no damage. No.
Enemy sighted.
Sector
I'd
weather.
have expected to see
Alarm sandstorm is approaching.
just like the slightest taken out by now. Yeah, but the western wall's got like high NPC area, so it's easy to do over there because the NPCs hit hard. This NPC doesn't even penetrate my shield. I'm constantly firing at it. The NPCs over there, they 1 or 2 and my shields are already flickering.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
That's what I need, a sandstorm. Cause more damage to this. If that falls, then this will start taking damage.
Interloper.
I really wish they changed the mechanics so that abandoned bases could be more easily taken. Like if your shield goes on your base because the sub-thief runs out of energy, then you should be able to take out the person sub-thief.
I'm out.
The way it works now, that it's protected and you literally have to wait for the elements to come along, it's like, but what's the point? If they're not coming back anyway, you may as well, it's like there's resources that are like at some point going to disappear and no one's going to have to pick them up. But at least if some other players could take the resources, then they're not wasted.
Reload. Attack.
See, look, you can see the damage coming off that. If you just seen, as the storm's going over, that just went down like the minutest little itch. I watched it slightly move. I needed like another, what, at the thing that rate moves there, probably need another like 8 storms. And that'll be gone. Thank you for your time. Nut didn't take any damage. Still perfect condition, not even the slightest, not even like a 0.0001 millimeter of a bit of damage on that, mate. And that was firing at it for 5 minutes. I think you could be there like 5 hours and it still wouldn't have moved. One day that top part is gonna fall, and then some FIFA start taking damage. Just hope it starts taking damage before the boxes and stuff disappear. Pretty sure these were. I need to swap them back upstairs. I think that was supposed to be upstairs. And I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be in this box, and that was supposed to be up there. I've got all the spice melange now, so the 26 hours and 2 minutes, I need to add an hour on that because I spent an hour yesterday effectively getting the last of the spice melange needed in order to build the large spice refiner. So we now have everything we require, and we've done a full recovery for the refinery stuff. The only thing I now need is to get after today, so I can't go out there today because I've taken down the out base in the deep desert today. Well, I took it down last night because I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to be playing Dune today. So I took the deep desert base down so I didn't have to worry about having to do it and maybe forgetting about it tonight. So it's all ready for putting the base back up tomorrow, and then we can do the rest of the metal mining. And then we should have all the stuff to do all the tier 2 stuff back again. And then the timer will properly stop. And then we'll have a full recovery done. From 0 back to full production. When you say the law of Dune, what's the law? I'm trying to think. I know what law generally is, but I'm not sure what you mean by law of Dune. Give me an example of what you are referring to. One of the first things I'm going to do is build the tier 6 gun, I think. Once I've finished this quest. Where do these go? awesome. Drop them all off. I hope I don't need any of those for the D-Demo though. I'm tempted to actually go up because I've obviously got a day to waste, sort of. Day to waste. I've got nothing to do today, planned for this stream, because I wasn't very well. My backup was to always come to Dune if I couldn't get GTA to win or to work, and I tried right up to the last minute to see if I could get it to work, but I couldn't. So Dune's my backup. Now I'm in Dune, I'm like, well, because of me packing everything up yesterday, I can't continue with the quest, so today's kind of like a free game to not do anything towards the challenge that we're currently doing, because I can't, because the base is down. Let me read your thing. Oh, audiobooks. Oh, I love audiobooks. Do you know my dad was trying to get me to read, or wants me to read books, and I'm like, Dad, I don't read books. I hate reading books. But audiobooks. I like audiobooks. I understand now what you mean by the lore. You're on about, like, do I want to know the ins and outs of Dune further than what the game goes? Is this where your base is, down here? Or you're going to build your base somewhere like down here? Oh my god, I'm out of fuel almost. Just pack it up. Why would you want to build down here though? I still don't quite get this. Let's see where we can build down here. Let's get a slightly. And we're here. See, the places I was looking at the other day were not this area. Somewhere else. I need to probably go off that. There might be somewhere down there actually. All of this looks red though. See, this is what I was expecting to see though when I came here last time, but then when I came here last time I went up by where I normally get the cobalt paste from, and I actually seen loads of area where you could potentially build. So you could build off the edge, like you could go right up to that wall and build here. They squish it up, but you'll be missing loads of land. So I could fit it here, and then you can build it up. It'll be a bit squashed. Where I was looking at the other day is where these are, but further over there's some places, like actually just above us looks like a viable spot maybe. Like you could, looking at that, this is a beautiful spot. Oh, actually, no, it's not. It looked like it from below. But over there is. See where that is? That's a... See, if I was building it, I'd probably build it on one of these sky bridge type things. And then do one that's near a pole, and you could then build... You could integrate your whole base using the sky bridge as an entrance on either side. And because it's a pole as well, you could go all the way down the pole and build around that. Because you'd always have a structural element that allows your base to go down, and you wouldn't get to a point, because if I think it's like 15 blocks away from a foundation block, you can't build. So by having that central pole allows you to build endlessly down and still have the structure. Right. So you're on the border of Hagar. So here. Is this why you're on about, Aiden? See, on this map, there's actually a base above here, a player base. It's not as big as the one that used to be there, but I noticed one up there the other day. I need to go get some fuel first. But you don't even know it's night or day when you're down there. It's just dark and doomy, no matter what. I'll get some fuel and then I'll go down the other side. If it wasn't for me actually needing to go down to the bottom of it, I wouldn't be bothered, but I don't have much fuel. Remember I was telling you to climb up the biggest sort of mountainy type thing? It's that one there. If you climb up to the top of that, there's a box up there. It's not part of any mission or anything, but there is a blueprint and that you can get up at the very top of there, or you get a chance to get a blueprint. Please. god, it's like super it's like super foggy around here. It's like, wow. Can't see anything. That's why you want it, innit? Because it's like just super dark. So you're looking to build on the very bottom, or are you looking to build on one of the different levels? This is where you run about. Like you could build, I guess, here, which is you wouldn't be able to extend it. You'd be able to extend it up, but you wouldn't be able to like extend it out because you're going to hit that. So you'd be able to like have a tallish one. Let me show you the area that I've found that I think is actually a pretty good area to build. And it's way further back this way, but it's not like it's dark and dingy in there. Like there used to be actually a base just at the very top of it here, and it used to cover the whole of this area here, and then there was another base that was just next to it as well, which was even bigger. But there's always been player bases at the top on this server. At the moment there aren't, but there's one down there, but that's not player one, that's an NPC one. Why? That's a player built one. No, it's not. What it was. So I'm trying to look up for the player one. I did spot the one the other day actually that was up here. And I was like, oh, that's a new one. I think it's just here, isn't it? In that go through? Yeah. So here, as hard as it looks, and to be fair, you probably won't like it because it's too in the open. However, this area, you can there's like no blocking, so you can fully build around here. Now, if you also look, you could build on this in the very center because there's no blocks on that, and if you built in the center of that, you'd be able to build all the way down as well because there's no blocks that would block you all the way down. So you could build something that was like huge up here and build it down, and it would take you right into the dungeons. I think that looks pretty cool. Either that, or you got this side as well, which is very similar. So there's nothing on the top that blocks you, and again, you've got that column that could take you all the way down, and you could build into this area as well. So you could have a base that you could get in up here. You could take you down, and you could come out here as well if you wanted to, and you could carry on building down. But you'd probably have to, if you were planning on building it so that it went up and down, then you'd probably need to start building it around here, so that by the time you put your extenders in, it would extend up and down, and then you'd probably be able to take it down to the very bottom and to the very top. It's literally right by where I go for my culvert paste. So I normally go for my culvert paste in here. So it's right here. So you've got what's the easiest thing? So yeah, if you look at like that big tallest big mountain thingy, if you look at that, but you look just to this area here, and like the way this is where I always, like from where my base is, I normally fly up here and then fly into this gap here, and that's where I go for my culvert paste. And it's when I came here the other day just to try and work out where you might be building, and then I got my building tool out, and it's like, actually, this is a really good place to build it. Where if you could build here, and then you could actually use the natural rock structure as the core to your base, which would allow you to build up and down, and you could build it out because there's no restrictions around it. Which is what surprised me, because I was expecting all this area to be blocked out, and it's not. And then I was like, oh, Waden's actually got onto a good idea actually here, because with all of this being as open as it is and not being blocked from you being able to build, you could make a really big, really eye-catching base here, which would go up into the light if you wanted to get up into the light, but it'd also allow you to build right down into the dungeony dark parts. And there's like endless amounts of room there. I thought, yeah, it's pretty cool, because it goes really deep down there as well. So, yeah, it's somewhere to think about anyway. There's probably other areas as well. Like, you just need to scout out and look what you're after. But yeah, I just seen this part and thought, and then it just made me think, how many more areas are like this? Because I just always assumed it was a hell of a lot more red than it is. How do you share your audiobook anyway? Is it not tied to an account? And be careful if you're sharing it on YouTube, because YouTube can, like, if you're putting it on YouTube, you have to have it private. You can't even make it unlisted, because copyright infringements. It's in a Google Drive. Oh god. Good old Google Drive, eh? Yeah, sounds good. I'll listen to it. Probably like as a bedtime kind of listen. It's normally when I listen to podcasts in the evening when I go to bed. Fall asleep listening to podcasts. Go and get some spice for lunch. Could do some farming. But probably the only thing I can do, sort of. A bit painful actually, because I need to move some stuff out of my ornithopter. I have also changed my graphics driver as well. So up until now, I have been running a game, or like the game driver for the NVIDIA driver. But I've done some research as to, because I'm at a bit of a conflict with regards to having to run a stream, which means obviously I'm obviously I'm playing games, but I'm obviously using software that's also very sensitive towards drivers and stuff you're using, which is what the stream works off. But I'm on a bit of a conflict in the sense of like whether or not I should run the studio driver that is meant for studio production, which includes things like the streaming software I use. But at the same time, all the games I use expect you to have the latest NVIDIA's graphics card that are game ready ones. So it's a bit of a I'm at a bit of a crossroads or conflict because I kind of need that, but at the same time, everything tells me that I should be using the creators one, even if I'm gaming. So I have put the creators one on to see if it gives me better stability, because even the other day the stream crashed because OBS decided to kill itself, and that has become more and more unstable almost with every version of, or game version of the graphics driver that comes out seems to make OBS more and more crashable. Like it has been progressively getting worse and worse. Although I have found a driver that's kind of semi-okay and doesn't crash as much, but still crashes now and again. Like you can be 6 hours into a stream and then it'll crash, where the other one is like it'll crash every hour. So I'm now using a studio one in the hope that if that makes everything stable and games do work okay on it, then that's probably what I'm going to stay on. And the advice I'm being told is to do that for the sake of the stream software, so we'll see. I'm not 100% confident that games aren't going to crash on it, if I'm honest. Especially Battlefield. Battlefield is just a nightmare. And I've given up with GTA. I've had enough with it. Can't even get the game to load at the moment. And all my research keeps hitting dead ends. I've tried literally every single piece of advice on how to resolve it, and I can't. Also, if you're ever looking to if you're ever at a stage where you are starting to deep desert and stuff like that, and you need to keep your stuff separate so that you don't take stuff out of your inventory when you're building in your Haga Basin base, or even vice versa, until they bring out the cargo container, which I suspect will be very much like how these vehicles work. You can create and just leave hovering, like I have here, a buggy with a cargo container with the storage container in it. And what that allows you to do is, while you can't actually access it directly, so if you notice here, I can't directly access this storage. However, there is a trick. And I've been a bit reluctant to show this on the stream, because if I show this on the stream, other people work out how to do it, and then the developer starts seeing everyone doing it, I've got a feeling they might take this away, because I'm kind of exploiting something here. But effectively, you can still access it. If you come into here, you can access all of your vehicles, including the one that's half built. So this is where I put all the stuff that I'm not allowed to touch until the challenge is over. So this has all the Spice Melange and stuff out that we should have lost in the deep desert, but because I'd kept it in the ornithopter, I didn't end up losing it, because I recovered it when I recovered the ornithopter. But the advantage of that is none of that stuff is accessible unless you do it through that. And when you build off your building tool, it will not be counted in any of the building resources. So when you're like building and stuff like that, it means you can keep stuff for your deep desert in there. And because you generally need that stuff for the deep desert only, and you don't want to use any of those resources, if you keep stuff in a box like that, then it allows you then to be able to make sure that you keep that stuff there, so that when you go to build a deep desert base, you actually have all the stuff. Because the amount of times I've actually gone out to deep desert thinking I've got everything, and then found out because I've built something during the week, whilst all my stuff's been here, stuff's missing. So when I'm trying to build a deep desert base, I'm short of stuff. I don't have to do like trips back here because I'm missing stuff, and I'm then trying to work out where that stuff is, or I'm having to build more because I've used it in consumable goods that I can't even recover the items back from. So that's a tip for you if you're building deep desert, or even if you're just doing other stuff and you want to keep resources back for something, and you want to make sure that you don't touch it unless you purposely want to touch it. That's how you can do it. I was actually going to build a few of these, but I've only built one at the moment. But I think I'll probably hold off now until the cargo container comes out. But I was thinking of building like 3 more of these so that I could put all of my deep desert stuff in them and have them all hovering around. But yeah, they just indefinitely stay like this, which is pretty weird. But thanks, Waylon. I'm assuming you sent it to on Steam. Cool. I'll start having a listen to them tonight. So is this the original books then? Is it the original Dune book? And is it like the full like end to end books? Because there's a series of books, isn't there? The only outpost. That's the new outpost. The DD refining outpost. That's the new one. That's the one with all of the the goodies in it. Ah, nice. Prequels. The prequels, are they the ones the series are based on as well? Because the Dune series that came out last year, and the new series should be coming out anytime soon. That's all the prequel stuff, isn't it? The stuff that came out before the film. Yeah. I actually like that, I think, more than... Well, I definitely like it more than the new film, because the new film's crap. I prefer the old one with Patrick Stewart in. But I love the prequels, because it shows you the kind of the dark side, and before there was a huge rivalry between the Harkonnens and the Atreides. It almost shows you how it all kicked off. Yeah, I thought that was prequel stuff. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons why I like the actual series so much, because very much nailed on the head with regards to it being like Game of Thrones, with like the two families, the Starks obviously in that occasion, and oh, what's the other ones? I can't remember. But yeah, two families having a war. You already can see it in the series of the Dune, and you can, in some ways you can tell it's another HBO thing. So HBO are very good at that kind of the complexities of like family dynamics and how it comes across. So they probably picked a really good partner to actually make the series, because I think they did a really good job with Game of Thrones. So I can't wait for the next series to come out, because when they finished it where the current one got up to, they kind of left it in such a suspending place, which is typical. Obviously they want to do that to make sure you come back next season and watch it, but painful. I hate when they do that. Leave it just as at a cliffhanger. Stuff these batteries in it. Actually, I've got to stuff them in there because that's full. See the rest of the batteries I had in the ornithopter then. That's because every time, like, I've actually bought almost 2 trips back of batteries this time. I've got batteries coming out my ears. Find somewhere to stick them. You can stick these anywhere because you can just like use the sub thief to use them. One reason why I'm not too bothered where I put them. And I'll just get more when I'm out there because they're so easy to get. They're not here, but out in deep desert they're so easy to get. Tons of batteries there, still not used. Like I've got enough batteries to last like months. Barely touched the batteries I've just put in there. But yeah, the Baron is fat, and do you know what? I think he still looks better in the original, or at least the one that was done with Patrick Stewart. I think that the one that was done in the 80s that's got Patrick Stewart in isn't the first one, is it? I think that was the second stab at it. The current film is the third film that was done. But the Baron is always fat, normally overweight. He can't walk. He obviously hovers around and stuff. In the second one though, he's like got like loads of boils and stuff, and he squirts them, and he's like a lot more. They make him so much better in the second one. In the new one, he's just like, he's so timid, and he's just like. If you also consider the fact that they could use CGI and, you know, all that type of stuff now, which they probably do use quite a bit of it in the Dune film, but they don't use that much of it around the Baron. Where in the original film, I think they did it so much better, and they didn't even have CGI at that point. Even the worm is like everything about the second film is just 10 times better than the latest film. I think I was so disappointed with the latest series. Even more disappointed that they changed the end of the story as well, because they want to make more money and make a third film. Fucking ruined it. Absolutely ruined it. Yeah, they're doing and like, so they're doing obviously the last one they've just made, which is like the third movie. They're doing a, you know, a third one. So there's going to be a third one in the what I call the third generation of the Dune movies, which is going to continue the storyline past where this current new film finished, and where the second one and even the original one finished. So they've changed the storyline because obviously they've left it open. Paul just took the throne in the actual original, and from what my dad said about the book, the new film has gone offline. It doesn't even follow the book. So they've changed the storyline in order to get another film out of it. Like, I wouldn't mind if they just made it more longer, but the fact that they've changed the narrative, it's almost like actually in the game hints at a changed narrative, because Paul Atreides in the narrative, and when he's talking about I'm Paul Atreides and stuff like that, he hints to say that this is what it could be, but there's also a different future that he sees. And the film is almost like it's on that other, like if you look at like Marvel and the metaverse, and there being split parallels of the same universe, but different timelines. It's almost like the new Dune movie is another timeline, another parallel of what could be. But I just don't feel it. Just realised I didn't bring up the battery. I'll have to go and get a battery. I don't mind them go. I don't mind that. That's the thing. I wouldn't have minded if they just carried on the story and went on about Paul's children and continue about Paul's children, which is what the game I think is gonna do. But the film doesn't do that. The film goes on about. The film doesn't even go on about another parallel. It literally just is another parallel, which you kind of just have to accept and say, well, okay, let's say there is another parallel. However, what if you like the original parallel? You don't like the new timeline? I don't think I've seen the sci-fi one. Is that then a series? Is it the one that's on sci-fi? I would like I think the game, as long as the game doesn't die before we get to that stage, but I think the game will go down more about his children, which obviously it does at the moment, because you already met the princess, which is obviously chapter 1 and chapter 2 has the princess, which is Paul's daughter, and obviously Jessica. I hope I'm not spoilering this and you have got that far in this game, because you do meet Jessica in the game. If you haven't done, have you done any of the chapter 2 stuff yet, Wayden, or not? Before I start giving you spoilers about what happens, I'm assuming you've got this far. Yeah. I'm fully aware of like that part of it. Like, I've watched enough of the films and I understand that part of it. But okay, so I won't talk about any more of that then, because I don't want to ruin what happens there. But you will meet Jessica at some point. That part I've already give away, so yeah. However, yeah, what I would say is, like, the game does go down the lines of I would say post the second film with Patrick Stewart in, which obviously has what I call the proper timeline, not the new made up one. And yeah, you've obviously the princess you've already met. Well, you would have already met as well, like, unless you've not done any of the timeline whatsoever so far. You would have met her, although you might not realise who she is yet, depending on how far you are through the storyline. You don't think they're very well received? Oh, well, they might not be by most people, but I was glad to see that, just because I was more happy to see that, or more relieved to see them, and that this game followed what looked more like the original timeline than where the movie was going, which was a completely different one. I don't think this is the one I want. No, this isn't the one that's got the batteries in it. Must be the other one. Are you on about their new fans or the original fans, like my dad's generation? So like the old generation, or older, as they say. Because everyone that I spoke to who hasn't watched what I call the original film, but it's obviously not, it's the second one, they said they actually like the new one. Because my mate hasn't ever watched the second one, but watched the new one, and he really likes the new one. And I'm like, I hate the new one. And then I was trying to get him to watch the second one. You like them both. Like, it's not as if I hate the second. Like, I don't hate the new one, but I'm not very fond of it. I almost feel like I'm one of those people that has read the book, and because I've read the book, I don't like the film. That's what it feels like, because that's how I feel about the second one compared to the new one. Even though I'm normally one of those people that has a really open mind and doesn't mind new. In fact, it's not that I don't mind new, it's just that I just feel they've ruined the storyline. Which is exactly what people who read the books say normally about movies. So as a person who's read or at least listened to the audiobooks of Dune, which will be exactly pretty much the same as, having read the books, would you say you prefer the books over any of the movies, or do you think any of the movies do the books justice? The books are insane. So you definitely think the books are better than watching the movies then, I'm assuming. I just realised that I'm wearing completely all the wrong stuff. And the sword I have is also like not meant for. Is that close by or not? I can never tell. But yeah, sword I've got is literally a steel sword. It's not going to kill these guys if I hit them 1,000,000 times. He didn't say that. See, my dad sounds. He's like, you sound very much like my dad. He swears down that a book just has so much more feeling and context in it than what you get out of a movie. I can't say that because I'm a big movie fan and I'm not a book fan. To get to one of the generators. I wonder if I can get through and get back again. Not dying.
I see someone. I require backup. Pulling in support. Attack.
Lucky I got a skill that allows me to dodge a slow bullet. Shoot. I swear you can get like a battery down there. I just have to go back to Hagar Basin. But what if you love Paul Atreides? To be fair, yeah, I don't know. I suppose that's like kind of like why I like the series as well, quite a bit, because the series does bounce from character to character a lot, but you also get to see quite in depth about each character quite a bit more. And obviously, you get to see Jessica at a younger age. You kind of start to work out that she has a history that you didn't previously realize she has. And then you get to learn more about the Bene Gesserit, which I thought I kind of half understood in the original film, but then found out I didn't. And they've got a far more darker side to them. And they're kind of the ones that are doing all the web spinning and stuff like that, which is all kind of like really interesting. But you don't get any of that in the movies. But the series, because you've got that more time, and they've got more time, they can go into that. Which is why when I went from the series to playing this game, I thought, oh yeah, I'm pretty confident. I know what will be going on in the game and in the backstory that goes on in the game, and then realised that actually I still didn't know that much. And since I played the game, you just learn tons more. just land it on here from now. Did have some big patches here. I think. Oh, I think. That's why I had some in there. Pretty sure I don't have any in here. I don't have one, I think, in here, because I think I offloaded one before. Didn't really think, oh yes, I should keep that in the helicopter. Is everyone in your guild, Wayland, still quite... Are they like you, taking your time to go through the game, or are you all taking, like, different speeds? Fair enough. So if there's three, so there's realistically there's only two of you then. If the third one's quit, did they quit because they got right to the end game and got bored? Like most players seem to have. I always quit. Like, to be fair, I'd run out of stuff to do. So in one way is why I was kind of glad that I almost had that kind of. Well, I did have a reset, but I ended up not losing quite as much as I could have lost. But I was kind of glad when I did, because it then gave me something to do. Where, up to that point, I was kind of starting to run out of things to do. He hates to die. Why is he playing a survival game? He hates to die. Actually, why play any game? You're gonna die in every game. Well, pretty much every game. There aren't that many games where you don't die. Normally, like, you refill and it'll fall straight away. One thing I'm gonna do next week, Wayne, is I'm gonna build a crawler. We're gonna have a go at this harvesting, because it won't take me long to get the metal I need to finish off the challenge. Then after that, I was thinking of building a crawler. Because I've got all the spice for lunch anyway. Like I'm gonna do a bit of harvesting now, just because, well, I've got nothing else to do. Literally nothing else to do. So I may as well get some more spice so that I can put another like batch through.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
2 hours away. Why tell me about that? Just in case you forgot, the desert is resetting tonight. So don't leave any stuff here. Don't do it me. So there should be consistently. There's been like places to harvest just there, or at least if you head here this week, I've always bumped into a spice field along the way, and if that one's been harvested, then the one actually I'm heading to will have one normally in. I don't think we're gonna have any. Looks like we're not close enough to American time zone. That's what it is. I've noticed that every time I get close to American time zone, they all start spawning. As if they know it's like it's not time yet. We won't spawn. Oh, there is one there. Oh yes. Oh my god, fair, consistently all the time. I like this one as well because it's like it's on pretty flat ground considering like most of them are on the side of huge friggin' mountain dunes. This is like as flat as you get in the desert. Where's my stick? Oh, do not tell me I didn't bring the stick. I'm pretty sure I picked up both the suit and I must have picked up the suit and the boots and I didn't bring up the stick. Oh, I have to go back and get compacting on. At least to confirm there's one there for now. So the player comes along and does it. We're just close to each other. Just need to head to one of those exits. Let's just give up. Let's just give up trying to harvest. That time would we tried to come back out here. So not actually even saying that, my patch is almost dead anyway. I've just noticed that. Never mind. It's not meant to be. $10, wow. That's mammoth, mate. Quite surprised you had the ears left. Did you have some good singers? Or did you have some more other people who you had to tell them, let them down nice and easy like you normally do? Rip into them and say, get off, don't ever come back. Ah, 3 raids, wow, nice. Level 4 as well. Level 4 hype chain. Bloody hell, you doing well, mate. 15 subs. Make some good money off that, mate. Stop complaining. As long as you have fun, mate, that's the main thing, isn't it? Like 10 hours, that's a long haul stream. Especially for karaoke. I should have gone to that one. So no, this one's probably closer. What day did you do that on? Was that Sunday or Saturday? Oh, actually no, Sunday. I just read. Sunday. What was I doing Sunday? Oh, I was recovering Sunday. That's what I was doing. Oh wow, that says it all. Don't you have loads of batteries, replacement batteries that you can just put in there? Just get like, unless you only can put rechargeable batteries in there, but I would have just had loads of like normal batteries set up, ready. Swap them in. It's definitely more economical to use rechargeable batteries, but rechargeable batteries don't have as much power as proper, like, non-rechargeable batteries to start with. But yeah, they'll last quite a lot longer. But that obviously does depend, because obviously I know you've got one of those proper pro mics, which those are normally like have their own special rechargeable batteries, and you can only use those proprietary batteries. So you had 8 batteries recharged and you went through all 8 of them. To be fair, like, I suppose, yeah, I can see why, I suppose. Like, even you're using less than 1 battery an hour if you were doing like 10 hours. That's quite impressive, though, to be fair, Wayden. 8 batteries. Quite surprised you had 8 rechargeable batteries all ready to go in. I'm assuming that's from experience why you have 8 batteries. So were you trying to recharge them when you swap them around, so that you always had some in recharge to try and put back in to last you that little bit longer? Because unless you're aiming for full recharge, the first like 60% of the battery's recharge is actually normally 2 to 3 times the speed of the very end part. It's just like the last 20% is normally the slow part of the charge. But if you keep swapping them in and out, you should be able to like keep going to a certain degree. It just depends on like how fast, whether your batteries have fast charge or not. Obviously, if they take like 12 hours to charge, that's not going to do it. But if they've got like fast charge, then you stand a good chance. Let's see. Cheat a little bit. Can't be asked going all the way up and then coming back down. The stick. Explains why I didn't pick it up in a different freaking box. Oh. That's not good. That's why you always double check. Well, through habit. When I do a stream, even these streams, I normally double check to make sure the stream goes up, even though it should go up. 9 times out of 10, one of the streams doesn't go up. And it's normally either X or Facebook. Today I haven't bothered putting Facebook up because I couldn't be bothered changing it, and it's so awkward to change that one. So I just put X up, but I did double check it just to make sure it went up. And that one as well, sometimes it'll post itself and sometimes it doesn't. I guarantee if I don't check it, it won't post itself, but if I do check it, it does post itself. Everything I do tends to be like that, like Sod's Law. You'll have to get some mics so that you can do a 24-hour like session, but ones that are on lead, so you don't have to change batteries in it. Because it's like if you're doing it at your desk anyway, it's not as if you need like wireless as much. Like obviously it's nice, but you could at least then fall back onto the wired mic, and then whilst your other mic's recharging, it's still recharging, then you can switch to it. How long do your mics last then on a full charge? I'm assuming they last quite long. If you did 10 hours, you've got how many batteries you mentioned? What is that? So you got like a battery and then a spare battery for each of your wireless stuff. I'm guessing it probably lasts about 4 hours maybe. 5 hours. Oh, cool. Hence why the 10 hours, because you had a battery and then the replacement battery, and then you ran out of battery because you hadn't put the other one back in charge properly. So you had to cut it short, even if you wanted to stay on. I've surprisingly crashed into something. I think that thing was around there. I hate the deep desert. When you leave and you come back, the marker that you place in the deep desert just gets wiped. And for some reason, like, this is a bit bugged at the moment, so even if you've actually marked something in the desert, it doesn't always show. Like that spice field should still show, but it's not. The pup is in your dog. You got your dog singing. What dog have you got? The zombie song. Oh god. I can imagine. Oh, I would guess that, which is probably why you know that she likes it so much. Although I don't think I've ever seen anyone get a dog up on karaoke before, so I definitely, next time you've got a karaoke and you've got her singing, I have definitely got to be seeing this. Did you record it? I'm assuming it, the thing is I'm assuming that you are obviously doing normal karaoke that has copyrighted music, so if I went to listen to it on your channel, assuming that you allowed it to keep the recording on the channel, the channel would have muted the music. There's a TikTok video. You're following me on TikTok, aren't you? I could go have a look at your channel. I'll go and check it out. I'm assuming your name on TikTok is still Wayland, yeah? Wayland, I should say. Yeah. I will check it out after this. I am back. For my spies. Third time lucky. I'm just going to get enough to do... I'm only going to get like 9,000 because I've already got 1,000 back in the base. Because I got 1,000 too much yesterday. Which I had to take back to Helga Basin. So if I get 9,000, then I've got enough to do one run once I put the base back up. And then next week we'll get a crawler out here, and I'm actually gonna Raiden. I'm gonna do it differently than the guy shows you on the video. My idea is gonna be better. I'm literally gonna park my ornithopter in the middle. That's what I want to do, and effectively I'm gonna take the crawler, and the crawler's gonna go around in a circle around my ornithopter. Because the thing is like, while I understand why he's going around in a circle, like he said, the most purest part is in the very center anyway. So if you land in the very center, because the very center anyway, you can't actually you don't get much from it at all in the very center, because in the very center, if you've noticed, it's kind of very light, so it's not actually very rich in the very center, but just outside that very center is its richest part. So if oh crap, I forgot to repair the energy, didn't I? Battery. How can I get one? Yeah, anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to like put my ornithopter in the center, like very center. About here, that's what I'm going to do. And then what I'm going to do is then obviously I'm going to put the spice vehicle in the very center, and then I'm going to put the ornithopter next to the thing. Well, no, I'm going to put the spice vehicle next to the center, the ornithopter in the very center, because obviously the very center anyway doesn't have very much, if any, sand in it. And then I'm just going to drive the crawler around the ornithopter, spiraling out, because then it'll always be close to the ornithopter. What that guy does is he drives outwards, but he drives really far away from his ornithopter at one stage before driving back to it. Where if you go around in a circle, a couple of circles, then it's progressively going, like, you're progressively getting a lot more spice sand, but you're always closer to your ornithopter, because you're only going to get far away from your ornithopter the further your circle goes out. And then if the worm does come before I finish the second circle, then I can jump out the spice sand, hop over to the ornithopter, and hopefully get in it before before the worm eats me and the ornithopter, or the crawler. Can't believe got 168 sand before I realised, oh yes, we forgot to repair the battery. Tell you what, this is why I normally have a base out here. And if you have to forget anything, you literally pop to your base and you can repair. before you can get something. Swap out of like spice mode and jump into attack mode. You can literally do everything. So painful, like not having a base of operations in the deep desert. You lost your water bottles. You sure you just didn't put them in your backpack? Well, the more likely story, you just forgot to pack them. You thought you put them in there, but you didn't. I do it all the time. I also tried the way to fix your vehicle, and I found I couldn't get it to actually work consistently, at least. I got it to work once for one component, but I couldn't get it to work again, and I also couldn't do it for multiple items. Actually, I got it to work the one time, and then I thought, okay, so it does work. I understood how it worked, and then did it on the mass scale because I got told you can do it either once or you can repeat it without having to relog, and it should and when you then relog it should do everything, and it didn't. And then when I went back to try and do it again after doing it with multiple items, I couldn't get it to work again with one item. I don't know what was going on. Whether I bugged out the bug, I don't know. I can imagine you were pissed off though, just as much as I am now, because this is my 4th time back to Haggard Basin because I keep forgetting something. I might just find this fucking spice field here, be faster. Actually, there's a spice field there. Let's just go there. Pointless. Were you going through the world map though when that happened, or just Hacker Basin? Because there is a bit of a bug that people have reported when sometimes going through the world map. I've not experienced it myself, but I've heard other players mention it. No. Sounds like to me like you're forgetting, mate. You're forgetting where you put them. It's not just going to return back in your base. The people that have reported things going missing is normally when they go into the world map. And then going through the world map, they go in there with so many items. They'll get into, like, for instance, Harkonnen village, and they'll get there and expect to see something in their inventory that they're going to sell, but then they don't see it, or they'll only see a reduced amount number. They'll go back to Hagar Basin and they'll still have that reduced number, and they won't be able to find it anywhere. If you've even relogged in between doing anything like that, that could also maybe cause weird things to happen, I guess. Considering they still have the relog glitch. Yeah, you've probably gone through the world map, and the world map's caused it. Just if you find anything that does go missing completely, then just raise the support ticket for it, because players have got their items back. Because it will still show in their logs, you see, so they'll know whether or not you have lost something. If it's turning back up in your base, that's weird. Maybe they got a bot now, like auto replacing them back.
A large sandstorm is approaching.
Yeah. Possibly even a system though that it did an error, and rather than give it back, try and put it back in your backpack, they just put it back in your base instead. I'm having a complete guess. I really don't know if that's true or not, but there could be something there. They've got like something going on that's trying to fix it. It is like one of the worries, I think, because there are issues around things going through world map. Oh, that looks like a big fucking storm. I'm coming this way. What is it gonna miss? Let's stay here
Sector
just in
weather
case.
alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Oh, it is coming here. Yeah, so because there is because there are those issues with going through the world map, one of the fears with the or even taking like vehicles through the world map with the carrier is that if you try and take them through the world map, that either the things in the carrier or the thing the carrier is carrying might not be there when you get to the other side. Which is why like people have been quite calm about the fact of like, yeah, you just take your time and make sure that when you do deliver it, you deliver it so it's working and not broke. Because the last thing we want is like you to like bring something out that makes the situation worse than it is. Hey, Squid. Squid, have you experienced what Wayland's talking about now with regards to the things disappearing from your inventory when you go through world map? Are you gonna rage quit where you Wayland? I don't think I'd rage quit just because a couple of items went missing from my inventory. I mean, what happened? What, with me just then? That's just me like exiting the Hagar Basin map so I could get out to world map. I cut. If you've never noticed, I can't see the like wall, so I always end up crashing into it. And I was quite low then anyway, so I just like hit the wall and then hits the wall and then it just dives down. Normally I don't hit the ground though because I'm not that low, so normally I hit it. And then before it loads the world map, I'll be disappeared. But sometimes, if I'm low enough, it'll hit the wall and then hit the ground before the world map starts loading. The devs did mention that they were thinking about changing it so that you'd start to take damage from hitting that. I hope they don't change that, because if they do, I'm screwed. I always hit it. You thought Hagar Basin was huge. Have you been out to the deep desert yet, Squid? Don't worry for the hustler. I'm not that bad. Have you not seen me crash into the walls in the deep desert? I crash into the walls in the deep desert because they're exactly the same. I can never tell where they are because I can't see them until I've actually crashed into them. They need to highlight them more. I wouldn't crash into them if I could freaking see them. I don't do it on purpose. I do it because well, until I'm actually right on top of it, I don't actually know it's there, so. And you're perfectly fine in this game anyway. Your vehicles or you don't take any damage in this game. So you can crash dummy damage it, do what the hell you want. As long as it's not a worm, you or your vehicle take no damage. work out where we're going again. This is like 4th time out here now. I'm definitely not coming out here anymore. That's it. This is the last time. A chicken for a worm. Literally, I think it was yesterday that I was going out into the deep desert because I needed to get components from like crashed down ships, and I was like, yeah, I must be quite close to the side. So I moved away from the side in order to not crash into, I think it was the east wall. And I hadn't realised how far back I'd already gone. And I was like, okay, so I start turning that way, and I actually turned right into the end wall. So I'd already reached the furthest, deepest part of the deep desert. Hadn't even realised it crashed into the end wall. And I was like, oops. Didn't even realise it's that far out. And that's pretty standard, to be fair. I know the wall's there when I've crashed into it. And in Hacker Basin, well, yeah, you've pretty much got to crash into the wall anyway to get out. Like, unless you hover there for about 2 seconds, it doesn't just instantly, as you get close to it, oh, you want to go onto the world map? It's like, you hit it, and then 2 seconds later, do you want to join the world map? Yes. It would be nice to have given me that before I hit the wall. Do you have any kids, Waylon? I'm assuming you don't, the fact that you said you're going to name your first kid Hager Basin. Poor kid. Like, I like Dune, but not that much. Naming my kid after like something in Dune. None that you're aware of. All right. Mr. Playboy there. Showing off now. Not that he knows of. Tequila Tuesday, hey? Now that you've said that you're going to name your kid Hager Basin, I could also imagine you being like Elon Musk and naming your kid like some weird like binary name. Like X02 or something like that. Well, what's his name? Kid's name's got some weird like binary name, or non-binary name, should I say? Not binary name, non-binary name. Any of you guess what this music's from? What game you reckon this might be from? I'd have never guessed it, but then I've never played the game. Although I've watched a documentary based on it of one of the players, a pro player, so that might give you an idea. Simple guy that wants to call his kid Hacker Basin. You don't be kidding me, mate. I'm sure everyone that's named their kid some weird, mad name has said the same. I'm just a normal person. I just like this thing really much. I want to ruin my kid's life so that when they go to school, that they get the piss taken out of them. Music's a bit extreme actually. I might change it. I didn't actually think it was quite like that. What this is like. A bit more easily listening. Like, I like EDM, but not quite like that. And I never knew a game had that level of EDM. I did see a small pile, mate, actually, when I went back before. I jokingly said I'll go and mine that instead, but there's no point. Like, literally, the small ones you get in Hacker Basin, I hit like I'd get about 5 shots of it with this, and I would get maximum, even if I went for all like the very fringy parts as well, I'd get about maximum of about 560 units from it, which is barely a blink of an eye flash. Like, considering I need 10,000 to put a batch through on the large spice refiner. You'd be there for a long time going to a lot of small fields. That was your first one. I'm proud of you, mate, if that was your first one. Well on ya. Yeah, now you need to get in the big deep desert, mate. Have you got your ornithopter yet? Or are you still on that bike? You must have an ornithopter by now. You can build a small refiner. You need to start somewhere anyway, unless your guys have built you a better spice refiner. You've got a buggy now. I skipped buggy, mate. I didn't get a buggy until way after I had an ornithopter. I couldn't see the point in a buggy, if I'm honest. Until you're doing like the high-end stuff and you've got a decent like laser on it so that you can like mine and harvest stuff. I wouldn't bother with a buggy. The game really does not start until you get your ornithopter. So you need to forget the buggy, get in an helicopter. You even painted it. What colours did you paint it? Have you got any of the like sets yet, like Harkonnen or Atreides, or have you just got like the basics? To be fair, you do need a bit of money for these sets, like a couple of 100,000 per set to buy the whole set and stuff. When I was a multi-millionaire, a Solari millionaire that being, I bought both the sets. Like I didn't buy all the Atreides stuff. I only bought like the main building sets for the Atreides. I didn't buy any of like the skins for the vehicles for Atreides because, well, that's stinky Atreides, and I only wanted some of the building components. I wasn't really interested in the their building stuff. Well, their kind of vehicle liveries and variants. Jeff Bezos 50. Well, yeah, it's not hard to make money in this game. Like I'm poor at the moment, just because I have like I spent most of my salary previously just buying random crap, and then buying spice, because when I originally did this the first time, I refused to do it the grindy way. I basically bought my way into the large spice refiner by just buying enough spice to then build a large refiner. But this time round, to show other players how easy or hard it is to recover from losing all your spice and having to rebuild everything from scratch, I've obviously grinded this time. But to be fair, it's probably way easier now than when I bought my way into it last time, and that's only because when I would have done this, if I had done it and ground it the first time, there was a lot more players and you didn't have medium spice fields in PvE, and there was loads more people around, and there was gankers around back then as well. So I would have only ever going out I would have had to have gone in the PvP sections, and I've always only ever gone out the PvP sections in a scout helicopter, which is if you're doing medium fields, which I've always done anyway, and I used to do, but it takes you a lot longer because you obviously can't carry as much in your helicopter, so you've got to do a lot more trips. And I didn't like the idea of doing everything inefficiently when I found out how much or how inefficient the small refiner was. I was like, there is no way I'm wasting friggin' tons of time to have to like mine or harvest twice as much material to make half as much spice melange. I was like, I'll just buy it. So that's what I did. I worked out how to make money in Dune, and I got myself up to 10 million Solari, and then I bought it. Is your guildie, the one that's further ahead of you, which is both of them, I think, have either of them got on to do spice harvesting properly or not? It's hard to answer that. I've got a few questions myself which I don't have the answer to. One of those questions are very similar to yours. Like, how many servers are there going to be? But how are they planning to condense the servers down? Because the current mechanics mean that there's probably going to be one player in most of Haggard Basin, and they've got loads of instances of Haggard Basin which they probably don't need anymore. So what are they going to do? Are they planning to do like force building uplifts? In other words, tell people they're about to close down one of their instances? I think that's going for a ship. I hope it's going for a ship. It's not aggroed, so it should be alright. It's not coming this way. Yeah, so I don't know whether or not... I don't know how they're going to merge the servers. But they are going to condense them. So we're going to have less servers. But there is already less servers anyway. Because the Deep Desert itself used to consist of a cluster of servers that used to host the Deep Desert, which makes sense because the Deep Desert's huge, so you'd expect either every kind of big square go away, or you would expect like 2 or 3 squares to probably be hosted by a server, and obviously a number of servers would cluster together in order to host the whole of the Deep Desert. So it probably would have been hosted at one stage probably by about 8 servers, given how big the actual Deep Desert is. Now though, there is only one server that hosts the whole of the Deep Desert, and how it works is based on the load, essentially how many people are in the Deep Desert. The server will either upscale or downscale itself. So essentially, it'll sense how many players are on the server in the Deep Desert, and when the resources reach a certain threshold, it will boot up another server and then split the server hosts or map down and say the original server will host this half, and the second server will take the other part of the load. And then every time the servers get to its next threshold, it'll scale up again. This is natural scaling up, and even the servers like the solution. Say, like, obviously I work for a tech business, and we do all of this with the services that we provide, and it's just natural scaling up. It's just like what you set it up to do, because obviously you don't want to pay like thousands of pounds for servers that basically have redundancy of like resource that you don't need to really pay for, because it all costs money. So you just upscale and downscale, but you have thresholds in there. And then if you're on something like AWS, which is an Amazon hosted service, effectively that means that you'll then only be charged based on your usage. So you have these upscalers and downscalers and pre-contractual agreements in place. I think that when it comes to, with regards to what they've got, they're going to need to make some choices in regards to more than just the Deep Desert though, because at the moment they want obviously to condense things, and normally Funcom in the past, from what I've experienced, they'll normally do some forced server merges. But on the maps I've always played previously, like Age of Conan the original didn't actually have any player built zones that you had to be concerned with, at least, because the only player built zones, they could all be hosted naturally anyway, and you could just mitigate them across servers. But the way that this game server mechanics and architecture is built out, they're going to have to force some... The only way I can see it working is they're going to have to force some players into moving instances. And if they do that, then people aren't necessarily going to be able to put their bases back in the same places. Which is why I think why they've done that, like, thing that they've done with the tool that's going to come out, the build and move tool. I think that's one of the reasons for that. Like, I think that building move tool has a few purposes, and one of the purposes, as I mentioned before, is so that people who are going to go AFK can use it in order to like take their base down and store their base safely without having to maintain it in any form. So that helps solve that. But the problem it doesn't solve completely is the server mergers, which I think they've done that because they're going to say, I think they're going to force people to turn around and say, we're going to make a merger, and if you want to keep your base, you're going to have to pick up your base, and if you don't pick up your base, you'll lose it. That's what I can see happening. But it'd be interesting to see if that does what happened, or whether they've got some other plan, or whether they're lucky and they can find servers that can merge without people having houses in the same places. One day you'll log on and you'll have a new neighbour who used to coexist in another server but now is in the same server as you. From what I understand as well about transference between servers, the current way they've mentioned how it's going to work is everyone will still be on the same server. I don't think they've talked about yet about proper transfer servers. So like where I'm obviously on Worm site, that's my main server, and then there's like a sub server which depends on then what Hacker Basin instance I'm in. I believe the current tool is just designed so that you can change instances, so that effectively they can consolidate the Hacker Basin instances. I think that's the first stage, and then the second stage will be to allow proper server mergers or proper server moves where you can move from, say, Worm site over to whatever other server there is out there. Turn around, you douche. God. Hate it when he just like sticks there. But yeah, I don't think you'll have the proper like server to server transfers yet. I think the current mechanic, I could be wrong, but they haven't said that you can do proper server mergers yet. All the stuff that's been mentioned so far is just like it's more Hacker Basin and the instance differences that you can do different at the moment. Flying worms. I think they fixed that bug, you know. I've seen a video on YouTube with it happening, but I've not actually seen it in the game myself. Flying worms. It's bad enough as it is, mate. Honestly, they're going underneath you, and I even had one the other day, just bugged out, and the aggro just wouldn't disappear, even though the worm had disappeared. I had to literally fly away and come back for aggro. My worst nightmare, flying bloody sandworms. think it was on Thursday, I had to scare someone away because there's some annoying player that came out. Like, most people don't go, if they see someone farming on a spice field, they won't actually normally go anywhere near it. Even in the PvE areas, just out of respect. However, someone decided to start like harvesting on the same field as me, which didn't bother me until they fact that literally every 2 hits they hit, a spice sandworm would come along, which was a clear sign that they hadn't bothered getting the reduced aggro compactor, and they probably also didn't have like the soft step boots. And it's really annoying when you're trying to harvest, every 2 seconds a worm coming along. Mr. Oh my God's got the same. You had that as well. Someone disturbing you on the field, doing that. So in the end, what I did in order to like scare them off is I purposely just kept purpose aggro. So as soon as the worm would go, I'd just turn my shield back on. Which obviously, as I have a high tier shield, it has extreme worm aggro. So the worm was literally aggroed straight away to come back to the field. And after about, I think 3 or 4 attempts of them trying to come back, of me doing that, they gave up. Obviously got the message that I wasn't happy with them. Like, it wasn't, I didn't even mind them being on the field. It was just the fact that they kept calling the worm so fast. And it was disturbing my harvest. It's like, if you're going to come out and share someone's field, firstly, you could ask them. But secondly, at least make sure that you've at least got the right stuff to be out there with. I wonder what the the minimum height is before the worm can actually not get you. Sometimes I wonder, because I try to stay quite low, but sometimes it looks like I might be a bit too low and the worm's gonna jump out at me. So you made a public bar then, did you, Waylon? Invite people around to your little base for drinks. Nice. One way of doing it. I'm quite surprised you have anyone in your Hagger Basin though. I don't see anyone in the Hagger Basin. Very rarely. Alright. Have you got one of those like sky bars or something? So everyone can like go out, watch the desert and have a few drinks on the balcony. Balloon. won't panic. No one's gonna build there. Only you're mad enough to want to build in like the rift. That's the closest a worm's been. Like, it's not as close as it was like a few weeks back, but I don't think I've ever seen that one that close, but that one was close. I know. Well, they don't like you like taking their spawn. I'm assuming that's what the purple stuff is, isn't it? It's like their byproduct. Do you know, it's the one thing, like, I know it's the spice sand is produced by the sandworm, but is it like their spunk or something, if you know what I mean? I don't know how nice way of putting that. But is it part of their reproductive parts? So why do they get so pissed off you taking their sand? I'd understand if it was like something to do with like their reproduction. Oh, I'm almost finished now, so I won't be disturbing them for much longer. And then they can keep the rest of their love making purple stuff. Actually, I don't actually need to get any more. I've got way more than I need already. Oh, and there he comes. Just in time. I don't need 10,000. Well, I only need 9,000. I've already got 10,000 almost. Literally only 100 short. You can keep it, mate, now. I'm going. Bye-bye. Till tomorrow. And I'll be back. That could be a large one there. Because we're already out in here, so if I look further out, I reckon that could be a large one. It's quite a dense blowout, that. It's definitely not small. It looks a bit too intense for a medium. How much spice sand did you get from your first haul then, Layden? I'm guessing you wouldn't have got a huge amount because you wouldn't have had, you won't have a very efficient compactor, and even with a very efficient compactor, you didn't get very much from a sword. 250, was that it? Wow. Still good though, mate. Your first go. What compactor have you got? Is it like Mark 1? Mark 3. Alright. Oh, I suppose. Yeah. Standard. I suppose the Mark 5 standard's not amazing. It's just the fact that I have the improved one. That has no manga as well. No, but still pause them. That makes them angry. Only about 40 minutes, and then the storm starts. That's a small. That cloud disappeared on me straight away. It's almost dissipated now, straight away. And that one will still be going strong. Dead bright. Can't even tell what that one is. That wasn't that was Spy Sand a minute ago. Last time I came in here, that was Spy Sand. That's now the other stuff. I can't remember what it's called. I might get some of that later, because I do need to get some of that. Drop this off first. Get some flowers on. So I am starting to like because the cheese mechanics. I don't generally like going out to have to get it, but I'm gonna have to start harvesting it. Because if I don't, I'm just gonna literally completely run out of it. The only thing is, it's like I'm sure it's not a good idea doing this at the basin anymore. So easy to aggro worms here. Oh my god, the piles are so small. It doesn't pile up in the same way. They come so fast here as well. Literally right on top here. They spawn so far away in deep desert. That's literally on top of me almost straight away. Close. Heart of Steel fucking harvesting here. Don't know what I'm thinking. Harvest is like slipping down the slope. They'll tell you what, sandworms in Hanger Basin. Lethal. More lethal than they are bloody deep desert. Spawn literally on top of you. Got some power sand which I haven't had since like 2 patches ago, so or done any harvesting at least. I've got tons in storage, but I have started getting through it quite a lot recently, so especially with having to restock since the big deep desert loss. That doesn't even cover this week's usage. But it's better than nothing. No worries, Wayland. Catch you again later soon. I'll catch out your video as well after. I'm literally going to cut the stream off, I think, now as well. But I'll also listen to your audiobooks as well, on your Dune audiobooks. I'll let you know what I think. Good speaking to you, buddy. Speak to you soon. And thank you very much, everyone. We're going to cut the stream now because I do normally only do these for 2 hours and we are over the allocated time. This is a normal scheduled one, although the game is different than what I'd normally do on a Monday. That's due to the problems with GTA at the moment. So I am going to continue to try and resolve those issues, but
every single time you stay a cave. You got